The slap cracked across her face like a gunshot. Blood dripped from Judge Kesha Williams' split lip onto her $2,000 suit while the cop smiled. Actually smiled as he slammed the cuffs on. "You just assaulted a federal officer, he said. She looked him dead in the eye. "No, you just assaulted a federal judge." His smile died. In 14 minutes, she'd walk into that courthouse wearing her robes. In 15 minutes, she'd destroy his entire life. And he had no idea it was coming. Smash that subscribe button right now. This story gets insane. Drop your city in the comments. I want to see how far justice travels today. You don't belong here. Kesha Williams heard those words at 8:14 a.m. on a Tuesday that would change everything. She stood on the courthouse steps, briefcase in hand, ready for work. Officer Daniel Martinez blocked her path. "Excuse me," she said. He didn't move. "I said excuse me. Where you think you're going?" His hand rested on his belt. 2 other cops flanked him. "Inside, I have court at 9. Martinez laughed. "Court, lady, this is a federal courthouse. You can't just walk in here." Around them, people slowed down. Lawyers, clerks, citizens heading to jury duty. Phones came out. "I work here," Kesha said. "Doing what cleaning?" The insult hung in the cold air. Kesha had dealt with men like Martinez her whole life. Men who saw a black woman and assumed janitor, not judge. Men who couldn't imagine she belonged in the same building they did. "Step aside," she said. "Show me ID first." "I don't have to show you anything. This is public property." "Not for people who look suspicious." There it was, the word that always came. "Suspicious," Kesha repeated. "What exactly looks suspicious about me?" "Your attitude." "My attitude." She shifted her briefcase. "I'm wearing a business suit, carrying legal files, walking into a courthouse. What part of that screams suspicious to you, officer?" Martinez's face flushed. "I'm done with this. Turn around." "On what grounds?" "Turn around now." "You have no probable cause to—" He grabbed her arm. His fingers dug in hard enough to bruise. "Remove your hand," Kesha said. "Not happening." She tried to pull away. Big mistake. His partner moved in. Then the third cop. 3 men surrounding 1 woman while dozens of people recorded everything. "Stop resisting," Martinez shouted. "I'm not." His palm cracked across her face. The world went silent, then exploded. Gasps, screams. The phones kept recording. Blood bloomed on Kesha's lip. Her briefcase fell. Papers scattered across the steps like wounded birds. Martinez wrenched her arms behind her back. Metal handcuffs bit into her wrists. "You're under arrest." "For what?" Her voice stayed steady despite the blood in her mouth. "Assaulting a police officer." "I never touched you." "That's not what my report says." He shoved her toward a patrol car. Her knee hit the bumper. Pain shot up her leg. "Watch your head," one cop said mockingly. They threw her in the back seat, slammed the door. Through the window, Kesha saw her papers on the courthouse steps, saw the brass nameplate beside the entrance. Judge K. Williams presiding, courtroom 3A. Martinez was too busy high-fiving his partners to notice. Kesha closed her eyes, started counting. 1, 2, 3. Not from fear, from training. She counted to 100. Opened her eyes. Watched the courthouse disappear. What Martinez didn't know. In exactly 97 minutes, he'd see that courthouse again, and it would be the worst day of his life. Habdu. They booked her like a common criminal, photographed her, threw her in a cell with 3 other women who stared at her expensive suit. Kesha sat on the concrete bench, checked her watch. 9:47 a.m. Her docket had started without her. 47 minutes of justice delayed because a cop couldn't imagine a black woman in power. Williams. A female officer appeared. "Let's go." They led her back through underground tunnels, up a service elevator, into a courtroom. Not her courtroom. Courtroom 2B. Judge Harold Pierce presiding, old, bored, half asleep already. Kesha was led to the defendant's table, still cuffed, face bruised, suit wrinkled. Across the aisle, Martinez sat looking smug, uniform perfect, badge shined. Partners beside him. This was going to be fun. "What have we got?" Pierce asked without looking up. The prosecutor stood. "Assault on a police officer, Your Honor. Defendant attacked Officer Martinez this morning." Pierce glanced at Kesha. "That true?" Martinez stood before she could answer. "Your Honor, may I—" "Go ahead. I was performing routine security when the defendant approached acting suspicious." Kesha almost smiled. Almost. I asked for identification, Martinez continued. She became aggressive, started making threats. When I tried to de-escalate, she struck me in the chest. You injured? Pierce asked. No, sir, but she could have been armed. I had to subdue her for everyone's safety. The prosecutor nodded. Took 3 officers to restrain her, Your Honor. Pierce looked at Kesha. You combative ma'am. No, Your Honor. That's not what these officers say. These officers are lying. Martinez's partner jumped up. Your Honor, I witnessed everything. She was completely out of control. Me too, the 3rd officer added. Wild, screaming, trying to claw at us. Kesha let them talk. Let them dig the hole deeper. Pierce sighed. Ma'am, you got anything to say? Yes, Your Honor. Make it quick. Kesha stood as much as the cuffs allowed, looked Pierce dead in the eye. I'm a federal judge. Silence. Complete silence. Pierce's head snapped up. What? Judge Kesha Williams, courtroom 3A, this building. I was assaulted by Officer Martinez while entering for my 9 o'clock docket. Martinez's face went white. The color just drained right out. Pierce stared. You're a judge. Yes? In this courthouse. In this courthouse. She didn't identify herself. Martinez's partner tried. I shouldn't have to, Kesha said. I was walking into a public building with a briefcase. Nothing suspicious except my skin color. Pierce rubbed his face. Looked at Martinez. You arrested a federal judge. Martinez's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Why didn't you recognize her? Pierce asked. You've testified in my courtroom 3 times, Kesha interrupted. Last month, August, June. You sat exactly where you're sitting now and looked at me while you gave evidence under oath. There are a lot of judges. How many black women judges work in this building, officer? Silence. I'll help you. 1, me. And you didn't recognize me because you never saw me. You saw a black woman and assumed I was nobody. Pierce looked sick. Judge Williams. I'm not finished. Kesha's voice cut like a blade. Officer Martinez didn't just assault me. He manufactured charges, filed a false report, convinced 2 officers to commit perjury, in front of dozens of witnesses who recorded everything. But here's what she didn't say out loud. Here's what she was thinking while Martinez squirmed. You picked the wrong one. You picked the one black woman in this building who could end you. I'm requesting the courthouse security footage, Kesha said. Cameras cover every inch of those steps. Pierce looked at the bailiff. Get it. Your Honor, the prosecutor said. That might take... Then we'll wait. 14 minutes of thick silence. Martinez sweating, his partners avoiding eye contact. The prosecutor shuffling papers nervously. Kesha sat perfectly still, face bruised, lip split, eyes burning. The bailiff returned with a laptop. Set it up, connected to the courtroom display. Here we go, Vent, he said. 8:14 a.m. Kesha appeared on screen. Professional, purposeful. 8:15 a.m. Martinez blocked her path. No sound but body language screamed everything. Kesha trying to pass, Martinez stopping her, her gesturing, him shaking his head, her standing ground, him grabbing her arm. The slap looked worse on video, his hand across her face, her head snapping, blood appearing, briefcase falling, 3 officers surrounding her, wrenching her arms back, shoving her into the car. And Kesha never fought back once. The video ended. Pierce sat back. He looked old, tired, disgusted. Officer Martinez. His voice was quiet, dangerous. You're a disgrace. Martinez said nothing. You assaulted a federal judge, filed false charges, committed perjury in my courtroom. Pierce leaned forward. And you did it because you couldn't imagine a black woman in a suit might actually belong here. Your Honor. Shut up. Pierce turned to Kesha. Judge Williams, I'm dismissing all charges. I'm also recommending you file formal assault charges. I intend to. Good. He checked his watch. 10:38. You had a docket at 9. I did? Then we've wasted enough of your time. Bailiff removed Judge Williams's restraints. The cuffs came off. Kesha rubbed her wrists where the metal had cut deep. She stood, straightened her suit, looked at Martinez one last time. I'll see you soon, officer, she said softly, in my courtroom, where I'll be wearing my robes, and you'll be the defendant." His face went even whiter, if that was possible. Kesha turned and walked out. The hallway was chaos. Word had spread through the courthouse like wildfire. Staff lined the walls, lawyers whispered, clerks stared. Everyone knew. Kesha walked through them with her head high. Past the pity, past the shock. Straight to the elevator. Her clerk Marcus met her at her chambers. 26, fresh from Columbia, loyal as hell. His eyes went wide, seeing her face. "Judge Williams, get my robe," she said. "We're starting in 5 minutes." "But your face?" "My face is fine. My docket isn't. We're already an hour and 40 minutes behind." Marcus hesitated, then ran. Kesha stepped into her chambers, the room she'd earned through 2 decades of being twice as good to get half as far. She looked in the mirror. Bruised cheek, split lip, wrinkled suit, but her eyes, they still burned. She washed the blood off, fixed her hair, pulled on her black robe with the gold trim. Then Judge Kesha Williams walked into her courtroom. The gallery stood. Every lawyer, every clerk, every citizen there for hearings. They'd heard what happened. Seen the videos already going viral. Kesha took her seat behind the bench, adjusted her microphone. "Good morning," she said. "Apologies for the delay. Let's get to work." But inside, she was already planning, because Martinez's case was on her docket. His hearing for excessive force against that teenage boy. It was scheduled for next week, and Kesha was going to make sure justice wasn't just served. It was going to be delivered with interest. She worked through lunch, heard 17 cases, ruled on 12 motions, signed off on 6 settlements. At 4:47 p.m., Marcus knocked. "Judge, you should see this." He held up his phone. The video from that morning had hit social media. 2 million views already. Judge Williams trending nationally. The comments rolled in. He slapped a judge. She's about to end his whole career. This is what systemic racism looks like. I can't wait for the follow-up. Kesha watched the video once. Saw herself getting slapped. Saw the handcuffs. Saw Martinez's smug face. "Marcus," she said, "pull Martinez's complete file. Every complaint, every case he's testified in, every use of force report. I want everything." "Already on your desk?" She smiled. "That's why I keep you around?" "Judge?" Marcus hesitated. "Are you okay? Like really okay?" Kesha touched her bruised cheek, felt the split in her lip. "No," she said honestly, "but I will be after next week." That night, Kesha sat in her home office. Martinez's file spread across her desk. 43 complaints in 15 years. 43. 0 sustained violations. 0 consequences. 0 accountability. Until now. She pulled up the case file for next week. The teenage boy Martinez had brutalized during a traffic stop. 17 years old. Broken arm. Fractured ribs. Trauma that would last a lifetime. Martinez had claimed self-defense. Said the kid reached for something, that he feared for his life. The kid had been reaching for his license. Kesha read every word, every lie, every justification. Then she started preparing. She worked until 2 a.m., made notes, prepared questions, built her case not just for the courtroom, but for history. Because what Martinez didn't understand, what men like him never understood, you can't slap justice in the face and expect her to forget. She remembers everything, and she's patient. Friday morning, Kesha woke to her phone exploding. The story had gone national. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Everyone wanted an interview. She declined them all. Let the video speak for itself. At the courthouse, security had doubled. Protesters gathered outside. Some supporting her, others defending Martinez. Signs everywhere. Justice for Judge Williams. Cops protect us. Black Lives Matter. Back the blue. The country was divided. Again. But Kesha didn't care about the country right now. She cared about her courtroom, her cases, her docket, and Martinez's hearing next Wednesday. She spent the weekend preparing, reviewed video footage from the traffic stop, read medical reports, interviewed the teenage victim. His name was Deshaun. He sat across from her in her chambers Sunday afternoon, his mother beside him. "I'm scared," he admitted. "Martinez is a cop. Who's going to believe me?" Kesha looked at his broken arm, still in a cast. Still healing. "I believe you," she said, "and by the time we're done, everyone will." Monday morning, the courthouse felt different. Tense. Charged. Like everyone knew something big was coming. Martinez's lawyer filed 3 motions to recuse Kesha from the case. Conflict of interest, bias, personal involvement. She denied all 3. Officer Martinez will face justice in my courtroom, she wrote in her ruling. Just like he would have if he hadn't assaulted me. The only difference is now the whole world is watching, and that's exactly how it should be. The ruling went viral within an hour. Tuesday, Martinez tried one more thing. His union rep called. Judge Williams, perhaps we could discuss a settlement. I'm not interested in settlements. But, Your Honor, for the sake of justice, Kesha interrupted, Officer Martinez will have his day in court tomorrow, 9 a.m., sharp. Tell him not to be late. She hung up. Marcus knocked. Judge, you sure about this? The pressure, the media, it's a lot. Kesha thought about that morning on the courthouse steps. The slap, the cuffs, the humiliation. Then she thought about Deshaun, his broken arm, his trauma, his fear. I've never been more sure of anything, she said. That night, Kesha couldn't sleep. She kept seeing Martinez's face, that smug smile as he'd cuffed her. He thought he'd won, thought he'd put her in her place. Tomorrow, she'd show him what her place really was. Behind the bench, in control, with the power to change everything. She got out of bed at 4 a.m., made coffee, reviewed her notes one final time. At 6 a.m., she dressed in her sharpest suit, the navy one, the armor. At 7 a.m., she arrived at the courthouse. Media trucks everywhere, reporters shouting questions. She walked past them all without a word. At 8:30 a.m., she put on her robes, looked in the mirror. The bruise on her face had faded to yellow. The split in her lip nearly healed. But the fire in her eyes, that burned hotter than ever. At 8:55 a.m., Marcus knocked. Judge, they're ready. So am I. She walked down the hallway, through the double doors, into her courtroom. Every seat was full. Media in the back, citizens in the gallery, Deshaun and his mother in the front row. And there at the defendant's table sat Officer Daniel Martinez. He looked smaller somehow, less confident. His uniform didn't shine quite as bright. Their eyes met. He looked away first. The bailiff stood. All rise. The Honorable Judge Kesha Williams presiding. Everyone stood. Kesha took her seat behind the bench, adjusted her microphone, looked out at the packed courtroom. This was it. The moment that would define her career, her legacy, her fight for justice. She picked up her gavel. Let's begin, she said, and the whole world leaned forward to watch what happened next. The gavel hit the bench once, sharp, final. The sound cut through the packed courtroom like a knife through silence. Case number 2025 CR 4187, Kesha said. The People versus Officer Daniel Martinez. Charges of excessive force assault and violation of civil rights against Deshaun Carter, age 17. Martinez sat rigid at the defendant's table. His lawyer, a slick corporate type named Richard Brennan, straightened his tie. Brennan specialized in defending bad cops, made millions doing it. Your Honor, Brennan stood. Before we proceed, I must once again object to your presiding over this case. Given the incident last week, there's clear bias. Objection noted and overruled, Kesha said. I've already ruled on this twice. We're not doing it again. But Your Honor. Mr. Brennan, you're wasting the court's time. Sit down or I'll hold you in contempt. Brennan sat, fast. Kesha looked at the prosecution table. Assistant District Attorney James Chen, young, hungry, good reputation for not taking police misconduct cases lightly. Mr. Chen, call your first witness. Chen stood. The People called Deshaun Carter. Deshaun walked to the witness stand, 17 but looked younger, his arm still in a cast. His mother watched from the front row, hands clasped tight. The bailiff swore him in. Chen approached. Deshaun, can you tell us what happened on the night of September 15th? Deshaun's voice shook. I was driving home from basketball practice. Around 9 p.m., Officer Martinez pulled me over. Did he tell you why? Said my taillight was out. Was it? No, sir, I checked later. Both taillights worked fine. Martinez shifted in his seat. Brennan put a hand on his arm. Stay calm. Chen continued. What happened after he pulled you over? He came to my window, asked for license and registration. I told him they were in my glove box. He said okay, so I reached for them. Then what? Deshaun's voice cracked. He started yelling, screaming at me to show my hands. I tried to explain I was just getting my license like he asked. But he yanked open my door, dragged me out, threw me on the ground. Did you resist? No, sir, I was scared. I just kept saying, I'm 17, over and over. What happened next? Deshaun looked at his broken arm. He twisted my arm behind my back. I heard it snap. The bone. I screamed. Then he hit me. In the ribs. 3 times. Maybe 4. I couldn't breathe. The courtroom was dead silent. Did Officer Martinez call for medical assistance? Not right away. He cuffed me first. Left me on the ground for like 20 minutes. I was crying. Begging him to call an ambulance. He just kept saying I should have complied. But you did comply. I tried. I don't know what I did wrong. Chen nodded. Thank you, Deshawn. No further questions. Kesha looked at Brennan. Your witness? Brennan stood, buttoned his jacket, walked toward Deshawn like a shark circling prey. Deshawn, you said you were coming from basketball practice. Yes, sir. What time did practice end? Around 8:30? And you were pulled over at 9. Yes, sir. That's 30 minutes. Where were you during that time? Deshawn hesitated. I stopped at a gas station, got some water. Just water. And some chips. How long were you at this gas station? Maybe 10 minutes. So that leaves 20 minutes unaccounted for. Where were you? Just driving home. I took the long way. Brennan pounced. The long way? Why would you take the long way home at 9 p.m. on a school night? Chen stood. Objection. Relevance. I'm establishing the witness's credibility, Brennan said. Kesha wanted to shut this down, could feel where Brennan was going, but she had to let him ask, had to be fair, even when it killed her. Overruled, she said. But get to the point, Mr. Brennan. Deshawn, were you perhaps taking the long way home because you didn't want your parents to know where you'd really been? No. You sure? Because Officer Martinez's report indicates you smelled of marijuana. That's a lie. Is it, or were you smoking marijuana in your car that night? Deshawn's mother started crying. I wasn't smoking anything, Deshawn said. I don't do drugs. But you took the long way home, stopped at a gas station for water and chips. That's the behavior of someone who's high trying to sober up before facing his parents. Objection. Chen was on his feet. Counsel is testifying, not questioning. Sustained, Kesha said. Mr. Brennan asked questions. Save the speeches. Brennan smiled. He'd planted the seed. That's all he needed. Deshawn, when Officer Martinez asked you to show your hands, did you immediately comply? I tried to. Yes or no, did you immediately show your hands? I was reaching for yes or no. No, but no further questions. Brennan sat down looking satisfied. Martinez relaxed slightly. Kesha watched Deshawn leave the stand, saw the shame on his face, the doubt Brennan had planted. That's what good defense lawyers did. Made victims question themselves. Chen called his next witness, Officer Rebecca Walsh, Martinez's partner that night. She'd been in the patrol car during the stop. Walsh took the stand. 32, 8 years on the force. Looked nervous? Officer Walsh, Chen said, you were present during the traffic stop. Yes. What did you observe? Walsh glanced at Martinez. I observed Officer Martinez conduct a routine traffic stop. Define routine. He pulled the vehicle over for a broken taillight, approached the driver, requested license and registration. Then what? The driver became non-compliant. How so? He made a sudden movement, reached into his glove box without permission. Chen raised an eyebrow. Without permission, hadn't Officer Martinez just asked for his license and registration? Yes, but... So the driver was complying with Officer Martinez's request. He moved too fast. It appeared threatening. To who, you or Officer Martinez? Both of us. Where were you during this traffic stop, Officer Walsh? In the patrol car. How far from the vehicle? Maybe 20 feet. 20 feet at night, and you could tell the 17-year-old boy's movement was threatening. Walsh shifted. I could see enough. Could you see Officer Martinez break Deshawn's arm? It wasn't broken. It was a standard arm restraint. A standard restraint that resulted in a fractured radius requiring surgery. Sometimes force is necessary. Did you see Officer Martinez strike Deshawn in the ribs? I saw Officer Martinez subdue a non-compliant suspect. Chen walked to his table, picked up a tablet. Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence dash cam footage from Officer Walsh's patrol car. Brennan shot to his feet. Objection. This footage has not been properly authenticated. It came directly from the police department's evidence locker, Chen said. Chain of custody is documented. Kesha nodded. Overruled. Play the video. The courtroom screens lit up. Dashcam footage. Grainy but clear enough. Martinez's patrol car pulling behind Deshawn's Honda. Lights flashing. Deshaun pulling over immediately. Martinez approaching the driver's son, the window rolling down. No audio but body language told the story. Martinez aggressive from the start. Deshaun's hands visible on the steering wheel. Martinez gesturing. Deshaun nodding. Reaching slowly toward the glove box. Then Martinez exploding. Ripping the door open. Dragging Deshaun out. The boy's hands up, surrendering, complying. Martinez forcing him to the ground. Twisting his arm. The moment it broke visible even on grainy video. Deshaun's body convulsing in pain. Then the hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Martinez's fist into Deshaun's ribs while the boy lay helpless. 23 minutes before Martinez called for medical assistance. 23 minutes of a 17-year-old bleeding on the pavement. The video ended. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. Walsh's face had gone pale. "Officer Walsh," Chen said quietly, "is that what you call a routine traffic stop?" She said nothing. "Is that what you call necessary force?" Still nothing. "Your Honor, no further questions." Kesha looked at Brennan. "Your witness?" Brennan stood but hesitated. The video had destroyed Walsh's testimony. Anything he asked would only make it worse. "No questions," he said. "Smart move, but too late." The damage was done. Chen called 3 more witnesses, an emergency room doctor who treated Deshaun, a forensic expert who analyzed the dashcam footage, a civil rights attorney who testified about patterns of excessive force. Each one built the case higher. Each one buried Martinez deeper. By lunch recess, the prosecution had proven excessive force beyond any doubt, but Kesha knew Brennan wasn't finished. Guys like him always had a trick left. They reconvened at 1:30 p.m. Brennan called his first witness. "The defense calls Officer Daniel Martinez." Martinez took the stand, uniform perfect, badge polished, trying to look like a hero. Brennan approached. "Officer Martinez, how long have you served with the police department?" 15 years. "In those 15 years, how many commendations have you received?" 17. "How many complaints?" Martinez hesitated. 43. "And how many of those complaints were sustained?" None. "Because they were false complaints, correct." "Objection," Chen said. "Calls for speculation." "Withdrawn." Brennan moved closer. "Officer Martinez, can you describe what happened the night you pulled over Deshaun Carter?" "I observed a vehicle with a broken taillight, conducted a traffic stop. When I approached and requested identification, the driver made a sudden movement toward his glove box. I feared he was reaching for a weapon." "What did you do?" "I followed my training. Removed him from the vehicle for officer safety." "Did you intend to injure him?" "Absolutely not. I used the minimum force necessary to secure the situation." "But his arm broke." "That's unfortunate, but in high-stress situations, injuries can occur even with proper technique." "What about the strikes to his ribs?" "I was attempting to gain compliance. He was resisting." "The video shows him lying motionless." "He was tensing his body. That's a form of passive resistance." Kesha wanted to vomit. The lies were so smooth, so practiced. Martinez had given this testimony dozens of times before, and it had worked every time. Until now. Brennan nodded. "Officer Martinez, last week you were involved in an incident with Judge Williams on the courthouse steps. Can you explain what happened?" Chen stood. "Objection. That incident is not relevant to this case." "Your Honor," Brennan said, "it goes to bias. Judge Williams has a personal vendetta against my client." Kesha's jaw tightened. "Approach the bench." Both lawyers walked up. Kesha leaned forward, kept her voice low. "Mr. Brennan, you're walking a very thin line." "Your Honor, you were involved in a physical altercation with my client. That creates obvious bias." "Your client assaulted me," Kesha said. "That doesn't create bias. It creates a factual record of his pattern of behavior." "That's for a jury to decide, not you." "This isn't a jury trial, counselor. Officer Martinez waived his right to a jury, so yes, it is for me to decide, and I'm deciding your line of questioning is inappropriate." "Then I move again for your recusal." Denied. "Step back." They returned to their positions. "The objection is sustained," Kesha said. "Mr. Brennan, redirect your questioning or move on." Brennan looked frustrated. "Officer Martinez, do you believe you did anything wrong the night you stopped Deshaun Carter?" "No, sir. I followed procedure." No further questions. Chen stood for cross-examination. This was the moment. The chance to break Martinez, in front of everyone. Officer Martinez, you testified that you feared Deshaun was reaching for a weapon. Correct. What made you believe that his sudden movement? Did you see a weapon? No. Did Deshaun threaten you verbally? No. Did he make any aggressive gestures? The movement itself was aggressive. A 17-year-old boy reaching for his license after you asked for it is aggressive. In my experience, yes. Chen walked to the evidence table, picked up a folder. Officer Martinez, I have your personnel file here. 43 complaints. Let's discuss a few. Brennan stood. Objection. This is character assassination. It's pattern evidence, Chen said. Shows a history of excessive force. Kesha nodded. I'll allow it. Proceed. Chen opened the folder. September 2019. Complaint from Marcus Johnson, age 16. You broke his wrist during a stop and frisk. Care to explain? He was resisting. February 2020. Complaint from Ashley Rodriguez, age 22. You dislocated her shoulder during a traffic stop. She wouldn't exit her vehicle. May 2021. Complaint from David Chen, age 14. You gave him a concussion. He ran from me. July 2022. Complaint from Kesha Williams. Chen paused, looked at Martinez. Wait, that's Judge Williams. You assaulted her last week. Should we talk about that? Brennan shot up. Objection. Withdrawn. Chen smiled. Officer Martinez, I notice a pattern. 16 of your 43 complaints involve Black or Latino victims. That's 37%. But Black and Latino residents make up only 22% of this city's population. Can you explain that disparity? I don't see color, I see criminals. So you're calling all these people criminals. I'm calling people who don't comply criminals. Deshaun Carter was complying. In my judgment, he wasn't. Your judgment. Chen let that hang. Officer Martinez, how long did you wait before calling an ambulance for Deshaun? I don't recall exactly. The video shows 23 minutes. Does that refresh your memory? I was securing the scene. For 23 minutes, while a 17-year-old lay on the ground with a broken arm and fractured ribs. I called as soon as it was safe. Safe for who, you or the boy you'd just brutalized? Objection, Brennan shouted. Sustained, Kesha said. Mr. Chen, watch your language. Chen nodded, took a breath. Officer Martinez, do you believe Black people are more dangerous than white people? Objection, irrelevant. Your Honor, Chen said. Pattern evidence shows clear racial bias. Kesha wanted to allow it, wanted Chen to destroy Martinez completely, but she had to follow the law, even when it hurt. Sustained? Move on, Merchen. Chen changed tactics. Officer Martinez, you testified that Deshaun was tensing his body, passive resistance. Correct? Have you heard of a phenomenon called tonic immobility? No. It's a biological response to extreme fear. The body freezes, goes rigid. It's involuntary. Did you consider that Deshaun might have been frozen with fear, not resisting? Martinez hesitated. I'm not a doctor. No, you're a police officer with 15 years of experience. Haven't you had training in recognizing trauma responses? Some. So you knew that a terrified teenager might freeze up, I suppose. But you hit him anyway. I was ensuring compliance. By breaking his ribs. By doing my job. Chen stared at him. Let the words hang. No further questions, Your Honor. Martinez stepped down, walked back to his table, still looked confident, still thought he'd win. Kesha had seen it 100 times. Cops so used to getting away with everything that they couldn't imagine losing. Brennan called 2 more witnesses. Character witnesses. Other cops who swore Martinez was a good guy. A hero. Protector of the community. Chen destroyed them on cross. Pointed out their own complaint histories. Their own patterns of excessive force. By 4:30 p.m., both sides rested. Closing arguments, Kesha said. Mr. Chen. Chen stood. Faced the courtroom. Your Honor, this case is simple. Officer Martinez stopped a teenage boy for a taillight that wasn't broken. Brutalized him for complying with instructions. Then lied about it. The video proves it. The medical evidence proves it. Officer Martinez's own words prove it. He showed no remorse. No accountability. No recognition that he destroyed a child's life that night. The people ask that you find him guilty on all charges. Chen sat. Kesha looked at Brennan. Defense. Brennan stood, straightened his tie. Your Honor, police work is difficult. Split-second decisions in dangerous situations. Officer Martinez has served this community for 15 years. He's faced danger we can't imagine. Yes, Deshaun Carter was injured. That's tragic. But Officer Martinez acted in good faith following his training, protecting himself and the public. One mistake doesn't erase 15 years of service. We ask that you find him not guilty and allow him to continue serving. Brennan sat. The courtroom was silent. Everyone waiting, watching. Kesha looked at her notes, looked at the evidence, looked at Martinez, then she looked at Deshaun. 17 years old, arm still in a cast, future forever changed. She thought about that morning on the courthouse steps, Martinez's hand across her face, his smugness, his certainty that he was untouchable. She thought about every black person who'd ever been brutalized by cops like him, every victim told they should have complied when they did, every family destroyed by violence disguised as law enforcement. She picked up her gavel. "I'm ready to rule," she said. The courtroom leaned forward. Phones came up. This was the moment. Kesha looked directly at Martinez. Let him see her bruised face. Let him remember what he'd done. "Officer Martinez, stand." I stood, Brennan beside him. "I've reviewed all the evidence, the video footage, the medical reports, the testimony, and I've considered your 15 years of service." Martinez's shoulders relaxed slightly. Thought she was going to let him off. "But service doesn't matter when it's built on brutality. Badges don't grant permission to terrorize, and 15 years of getting away with violence doesn't make it legal." Martinez's face fell. "The evidence is clear. You stopped Deshaun Carter without probable cause. You used excessive force. You broke his arm and ribs while he was complying. Then you waited 23 minutes to call for help while he suffered. That's not police work, that's assault." Kesha's voice grew stronger. "You claimed you feared for your safety, but the video shows a 17-year-old boy with his hands up, surrendering, begging, complying. You weren't afraid. You were angry that someone questioned your authority, angry that someone didn't show you enough respect." The courtroom was dead silent. "And when you took the stand today, you showed no remorse, no accountability, no recognition that you destroyed that boy's life. Instead, you blamed him, called him a criminal, said he should have complied better, as if there's a way to comply well enough to avoid being beaten by police." Martinez's jaw clenched. "I find you guilty," Kesha said, "on all charges, excessive force, assault, violation of civil rights." The courtroom erupted. Deshaun's mother sobbed. Reporters typed frantically. Martinez stood frozen. "Sentencing will be in 1 week," Kesha said. "Until then, Officer Martinez, you are remanded to custody. Bailiff, take him." "Your Honor," Brennan jumped up, "we request bail pending sentencing." "Denied. Officer Martinez is a flight risk with access to weapons and law enforcement resources." "But, Your Honor." "I said denied, Counselor. Bailiff, proceed." 2 bailiffs approached Martinez, put handcuffs on him, the same cuffs he'd used on so many others. Martinez looked at Kesha. Their eyes met. He finally understood, finally realized what he'd done. Too late. They led him away, through the same doors he'd walked through so confidently that morning, past the cameras, past the protesters, into a cell. The courtroom slowly emptied. Deshaun and his mother stayed behind. Chen gathered his files. Kesha stood. "Mr. Carter, may I speak with you?" Deshaun approached the bench, his mother beside him. "I'm sorry, Kesha said, "for what happened to you, for how long it took to get justice, for every moment you doubted whether anyone would believe you." Deshaun started crying. "Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you." His mother gripped Kesha's hand. "You gave us hope. You showed us the system can work." After they left, Kesha sat alone in her courtroom, exhausted, drained, but satisfied. 1 case down, thousands more to go. Marcus appeared in the doorway. "Judge, you okay?" "I'm fine." "That was incredible. Everyone's talking about it. The video's already going viral again." Kesha smiled. "Good. Let it go viral. Let everyone see what happens when cops think they're above the law." She gathered her files, took off her robe, started to leave, then stopped. "Marcus, pull every case where Martinez testified, every conviction, every plea deal. I want them all reviewed. All of them, Judge, that's hundreds of cases." "I don't care. If Martinez lied on the stand today, he lied before. How many innocent people are sitting in prison because of his testimony?" Marcus nodded. "I'll start tomorrow." "Start tonight." That evening, Kesha sat in her home office. News coverage played on every channel, her face everywhere. The slap, the handcuffs, the verdict. People were calling her a hero, a symbol, the face of justice reform. She didn't feel like a hero. She felt tired. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Judge Williams? This is Captain Richardson, Police Department. Kesha tensed. What can I do for you, Captain? I'm calling about the Martinez verdict. There's been concern within the department. Concern about what justice being served. Concern about precedent. If officers face criminal charges every time they use force. Captain Richardson, Kesha interrupted. Officers should face charges when they brutalize innocent people. That's not precedent. That's basic accountability. But it creates a chilling effect. Makes officers hesitate in dangerous situations. Good. They should hesitate before breaking someone's arm. Silence on the line. Captain, was there a point to this call? Just wanted to express the department's position. Noted. Is that all? We're considering an appeal. Feel free. The verdict will stand. She hung up. 10 minutes later, another call, this time from the mayor's office, wanting a meeting, wanting to discuss community relations, wanting her to soften her approach. She declined. The calls kept coming. Police union reps, city council members, other judges warning her about making enemies. Kesha ignored them all. Around midnight, her doorbell rang. She looked through the peephole. Her mother stood outside. Kesha opened the door. Mom, what are you doing here? Her mother walked in, looked at her. I saw the news. I'm fine. Are you... Kesha closed the door, led her mother to the living room. They sat in silence for a moment. I'm proud of you, her mother said finally, but I'm also scared. Scared of what? Of what they'll do to you. Kesha, you just convicted a cop, made him look weak on national television. Men like that don't forget. I'm not afraid of Martinez. I'm not talking about Martinez. I'm talking about the system, the brotherhood. They protect their own. Kesha sighed. She knew her mother was right, knew there would be consequences. Mom, I became a judge to do the right thing, not the easy thing. Her mother grabbed her hand. I know, but promise me you'll be careful. These people play dirty. So do I. Her mother smiled. That's my girl. After her mother left, Kesha couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Martinez, about his 43 complaints, his 15 years of violence, and she thought about all the other cops like him, still on the streets, still hurting people, still getting away with it. One verdict wouldn't change that. But it was a start. At 2 a.m. she got out of bed, went back to her office, started reviewing Martinez's cases. Marcus was right. Hundreds of them. Testimony and drug cases, assault cases, murder cases. How many of them were built on lies she worked through the night? Made notes, found patterns, saw the same story repeated over and over. Martinez testifying that suspects resisted, that they seemed dangerous, that force was necessary, and juries believing him every time, because who questions a cop? By dawn, Kesha had identified 67 cases worth reviewing, 67 people whose convictions might be based on Martinez's lies. She called Chen at 6 a.m. This is harassment, he answered groggily. We need to file for a review of every case involving Martinez's testimony. Silence. Then, are you serious? Dead serious. I've identified 67 cases to start. Judge Williams, that's going to be a nightmare. The workload alone. I don't care about the workload. I care about innocent people in prison. You really think there are innocent people? I know there are. Martinez lied on the stand yesterday. He's been lying for 15 years. How many convictions are tainted? Chen was quiet for a moment. Okay, I'll start the paperwork, but this is going to make a lot of people angry. Let them be angry. They should have done their jobs 15 years ago. Kesha hung up, looked at the sunrise through her window. 1 week until sentencing. 1 week to prepare for the fight of her life. Because she knew Martinez wouldn't go down quietly. Knew the police union would bring everything they had. But she was ready. More ready than she'd ever been. The woman who'd been slapped on courthouse steps was gone. In her place stood a judge with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. Martinez's sentencing was set for Wednesday at 9 a.m. By Monday morning, the courthouse looked like a war zone. Protesters packed the street. 2 groups separated by police barricades and 20 feet of tension. On one side, families holding signs. Justice for Deshawn. End police brutality. Judge Williams is a hero. On the other, cops in uniform, off-duty but loud. Back the blue. Martinez did nothing wrong. Activist judge must go. Kesha arrived at 7. parked in the underground garage, took the private elevator. She'd learned her lesson about front entrances. Marcus met her at her chambers. He looked exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes. 3 days' worth of stubble. "You look terrible," Kesha said. "Thanks, so do you." Fair point. She'd barely slept since the verdict. Every night reviewing cases, every morning fielding threats. Her voicemail was full of cops promising retribution. Her email inbox flooded with hate. "What have you got?" she asked. Marcus dropped a thick folder on her desk. 67 cases. I've reviewed 42 so far. Judge, it's bad, really bad. How bad? At least 15 look like straight-up false convictions. Martinez's testimony was the only evidence. No physical proof, no witnesses, just his word against theirs. Kesha felt sick. 15 innocent people. Minimum. And that's just what I've found so far. The other 25 cases still need review. Get Chen on the phone. We need to start filing motions today. Already did. He's meeting with the DA's office this afternoon. Kesha sat down, opened the folder, started reading. Each case was worse than the last. Marcus Johnson, 16 years old, convicted of assaulting an officer, serving 3 years. Martinez testified the kid attacked him during a stop and frisk. No video, no witnesses. Just Martinez's word. Ashley Rodriguez, 22, convicted of resisting arrest, 2 years. Martinez said she tried to run him over during a traffic stop. Her car had a dash cam. Footage mysteriously disappeared from evidence. David Chen, 14, convicted of drug possession. Martinez claimed he found cocaine in the kid's backpack during a school search. The kid had no prior record, no history of drug use. But Martinez's testimony sent him to juvenile detention for 18 months. Kesha read through all 42 cases. By the time she finished, her hands were shaking. "This isn't just corruption," she said. "This is systematic destruction of lives. What do? We expose everything, every lie, every false conviction, every covered-up complaint. I want Martinez buried so deep he never sees daylight again." Her phone rang. Private line. Only a handful of people had the number. "Judge Williams." "This is DA Patricia Morrison." Kesha sat up straighter. Morrison was old school. Tough. Not easily impressed. They'd clashed before over plea deals and prosecutorial overreach. "What can I do for you, Patricia?" "You can explain what the hell you're doing to my cases." "Excuse me." "Chen came to me this morning. Said you want to review 67 convictions my office secured. You're making us look incompetent." "Your office convicted innocent people based on false testimony. How is that not incompetent?" "We relied on sworn testimony from a decorated officer who's now a convicted felon," Kesha interrupted. "And you're more worried about looking bad than about the innocent people in prison?" Morrison's voice went cold. "Judge Williams, I understand you're on a crusade after what happened to you, but you're overstepping. Judicial review has limits. Not when it comes to justice. This isn't justice. This is revenge." Kesha felt her anger rising. "Revenge? I'm trying to fix your mistakes. I'm trying to free people your office wrongfully convicted. If you have a problem with that, take it up with the appellate court." "I will. Count on it." Morrison hung up. Marcus looked concerned. "That sounded bad." "It's fine. Let her appeal. Every appeal means more publicity, more exposure. That's exactly what we need." But Kesha knew Morrison was dangerous. The DA had political aspirations, saw herself as mayor someday, maybe governor. A scandal this big could destroy those dreams. And desperate people did desperate things. At noon, Brennan filed an emergency motion, requesting bail for Martinez pending sentencing, claiming new evidence, claiming judicial bias, claiming everything he could think of. Kesha denied it within an hour, didn't even hold a hearing, just wrote a 3-page order eviscerating every argument. Brennan filed an appeal to the state court. The state court denied it by 3 p.m. Brennan filed another motion, this time requesting Kesha's recusal from sentencing. Said her personal involvement with Martinez made fair sentencing impossible. Kesha denied that too. Tuesday morning, the pressure intensified. The police union held a press conference. Union President Carl Davidson stood at a podium surrounded by cops in uniform. "Judge Williams has declared war on law enforcement," Davidson said. "Her vendetta against Officer Martinez threatens every cop in this city. If officers can't do their jobs without fear of criminal prosecution, crime will skyrocket. Judge Williams' activism is dangerous, reckless, and it must stop." Kesha watched the press conference on her computer, felt rage building in her chest. Marcus knocked. You seeing this? Unfortunately. They're calling for your impeachment. Let them try. Her phone rang again. This time the state attorney general's office, then a city councilman, then a state senator. All of them concerned. All of them suggesting she might want to show leniency in sentencing. Maybe community service instead of prison time. Maybe probation. For the sake of unity. Kesha told them all the same thing. Martinez would be sentenced according to the law. No special treatment, no deals. By Tuesday afternoon, death threats started coming. Not anonymous online comments anymore. Real threats. Detailed. Specific. We know where you live. Your mother's house on Elm Street will burn. You won't make it to sentencing. Capitol Police increased security. Plainclothes officers watched her building, followed her car. She hated it, hated feeling like a target. But she couldn't ignore reality. Martinez had friends, allies, people willing to protect him at any cost. That evening, Kesha's mother called. "Come stay with me tonight," she said. "Please." "Mom, I'm fine." "Kesha, they're threatening to burn down my house. Come stay with me so I know you're safe." Kesha heard the fear in her mother's voice. The same fear she'd heard 30 years ago when Kesha's father was killed. Murdered by cops who claimed he'd resisted arrest. Beaten to death in a holding cell while officers looked the other way. Kesha had been 7 years old. Old enough to remember. Old enough to understand that justice was just a word that didn't apply to people who looked like her. That's why she'd become a lawyer, then a judge, to change the system from inside. "Okay," Kesha said. "I'll be there in an hour." She packed an overnight bag, told Marcus where she'd be, left through the underground garage with 2 police escorts following. Her mother lived in the same house Kesha grew up in, small, modest, but paid off and filled with memories. Good ones and bad ones. Her mother opened the door before Kesha could knock, pulled her inside, locked 3 deadbolts. "You hungry?" her mother asked. "Not really." "I made your favorite, chicken and dumplings." They ate in silence. Her mother kept glancing at her, worry etched in every line of her face. "You look like Dad," Kesha said suddenly. Her mother smiled, sad. "You do too. Same stubborn streak. Same need to fight even when it's dangerous." "Someone has to fight." "I know. But sometimes I wish it didn't have to be you." "Who else would it be?" Her mother reached across the table, took Kesha's hand. "Your father would be proud. Terrified, but proud." They finished dinner, watched the news. More coverage of Martinez, more protests, more politicians weighing in. Around 10 p.m. Kesha's phone buzzed, text from an unknown number. "Tomorrow you die." She showed her mother. "Call the police," her mother said. "They are the police." "Then what do? We go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and I sentence Martinez like I planned." Her mother looked at her. "You're really not scared?" Kesha was terrified, but she couldn't show it. Couldn't let fear win. "I'm scared," she admitted. "But I'm more angry than scared, and anger is useful." Wednesday morning arrived cold and gray. Kesha woke at 5. Couldn't sleep anyway. Dressed in her sharpest suit, navy blue, the armor. Her mother made coffee. Toast. Neither of them ate much. "Want me to come with you?" her mother asked. "No, stay here where it's safe." "Kesha, Mom, please, I need to know you're okay. That's the only way I can focus." Her mother hugged her tight. "Come back to me. I will, I promise." The drive to the courthouse took 20 minutes. Police escort ahead and behind. Streets blocked off. Security checkpoints everywhere. The protesters had tripled overnight. Hundreds on each side, screaming at each other. Police in riot gear keeping them separated. Kesha entered through the underground garage again, took the elevator, arrived at her chambers at 7:30. Marcus was already there. So was Chen, and someone Kesha didn't recognize. A woman in her 50s. Professional, confident. "Judge Williams," the woman said. "I'm Special Agent Helen Torres, FBI." Kesha's heart skipped. "FBI? What's going on?" "We've been investigating Officer Martinez for 6 months. His excessive force complaints, his testimony patterns. We believe he's part of a larger corruption network within the police department." "How large?" "At least 40 officers, maybe more. They cover for each other, falsify reports, plant evidence. We've been building a RICO case." Kesha sat down. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because your verdict gave us leverage. Martinez is looking at serious time. We want to offer him a deal. Testify against his co-conspirators in exchange for reduced sentencing." "No, Kesha said immediately. Torres raised an eyebrow. No. No deals. Martinez terrorized this community for 15 years, destroyed lives, sent innocent people to prison, and you want me to give him a lighter sentence so he can rat out his friends? Judge Williams, we're talking about 40 corrupt cops. A deal with Martinez could bring them all down. Or it could send a message that cops get special treatment, that they can brutalize citizens as long as they snitch later. I won't do it. Chen leaned forward. Judge, maybe we should consider... I said no. Kesha stood. Agent Torres, if you have evidence against other officers, arrest them. Build your cases, do your job, but don't ask me to compromise justice for convenience. Torres looked frustrated. You're making a mistake. That's my call to make. Torres left. Kesha sat back down. Felt her hands trembling. You sure about this? Marcus asked quietly. No, but it's the right thing. At 8:45, the bailiff knocked. Judge, courtroom's ready. Kesha put on her robes, took a deep breath, walked to her courtroom. Every seat was packed. Media in the back. Deshaun and his mother front row left. Martinez's family front row right. His wife? His kids. Their faces showing anger and betrayal. Kesha took the bench, looked out at the packed gallery. We're here for sentencing in the matter of the people versus Daniel Martinez. Counselors, any preliminary matters? Brennan stood. Your Honor, the defense requests mercy. Officer Martinez has 3 children, a wife, a mortgage. He's never been convicted of a crime before, because he was never held accountable before, Kesha interrupted. Continue. He's lost his job, his pension, his reputation. Hasn't he suffered enough? Has Deshaun Carter suffered enough? Has his family? Have the dozens of other victims Officer Martinez brutalized over 15 years? Brennan sat down. Chen stood. Your Honor, the people recommend the maximum sentence. 25 years. Officer Martinez showed no remorse at trial, no accountability, no recognition of the harm he caused. He deserves every year the law allows. Kesha nodded. Mr. Martinez, stand. Martinez stood. He'd aged in a week. Gray hair more visible, face gaunt, the confidence gone. Do you have anything to say before I impose sentence? Martinez looked at his lawyer. Brennan nodded. They'd prepared a statement. Your Honor, Martinez began. His voice shook. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone. I was just trying to do my job, trying to protect people. I made mistakes. I know that now. But I'm not a bad person. I'm a father, a husband. I've given 15 years of my life to this community. I'm asking for mercy, for my family. Please. He sat down. His wife was crying. His kids, too. Kesha felt nothing. She'd heard apologies before. Watched men cry when consequences finally arrived. But none of it meant anything when it only came after being caught. Mr. Martinez, she said, I've considered your statement. I've reviewed your file. I've watched the video of you breaking Deshaun Carter's arm, and I've listened to your testimony where you showed zero remorse. Martinez wouldn't meet her eyes. Your apology today rings hollow. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry your life is ruined. But you showed no sorrow for the lives you ruined. The families you destroyed, the innocent people you sent to prison with false testimony. The courtroom was silent, everyone listening. You asked for mercy. Where was your mercy when Deshaun Carter begged you to call an ambulance? Where was your mercy when Marcus Johnson screamed that his wrist was broken? Where was your mercy for Ashley Rodriguez, David Chen, the 43 people who filed complaints against you that your department ignored? Martinez started crying. You don't get mercy, Kesha continued. You get justice. The same justice you denied so many others. She picked up her sentencing order. Read it slowly. On the charge of excessive force, I sentence you to 10 years in federal prison. On the charge of assault, I sentence you to 8 years to run consecutively. On the charge of civil rights violations, I sentence you to 7 years to run consecutively. Total sentence 25 years, no possibility of parole. Martinez collapsed. His lawyer caught him. The courtroom erupted. Martinez's family screaming. Deshaun's family crying in relief. Media frantically typing. Kesha banged her gavel. Order, I'm not finished? The room quieted. Additionally, I'm ordering Officer Martinez to pay restitution to each of his victims. $200,000 to Deshaun Carter for medical expenses and damages. And I'm recommending the Attorney General investigate every case where Officer Martinez provided testimony. Every conviction should be reviewed. Every victim should have a chance at justice. She banged the gavel one final time. This court is adjourned. The bailiffs moved in. handcuffed Martinez, led him away through a side door while his family sobbed. Kesha stood, started to leave. Deshaun blocked her path. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you for believing me." His mother hugged Kesha. "You saved my son's life. And his future." Kesha felt tears threatening, held them back. "He saved his own life by telling the truth. I just listened." After they left, Kesha sat alone in her courtroom, exhausted, drained, but satisfied. Marcus appeared. "Judge, you okay?" "I'm fine." "That was incredible. 25 years, maximum sentence. You really did it." "We did it. This was never just about me." Her phone buzzed. Text from Agent Torres. "You made the right call. We'll get the others without a deal. Respect." Another text, this one from DA Morrison. "We need to talk. Soon." And another from the police union. "This isn't over." Kesha smiled. Let them come. She was ready for whatever they threw at her. She went back to her chambers, changed out of her robes, started reviewing the next case on her docket, because the work never stopped. Martinez was just one corrupt cop. There were hundreds more, thousands of victims, a broken system that needed fixing. But for today, one victim got justice. One family got closure. One cop finally paid for his crimes, and sometimes that was enough. By late afternoon, the media coverage had gone nuclear. Every network running the sentencing, clips of Martinez crying, clips of Kesha's words. "You don't get mercy, you get justice." The hashtag justice. Williams was trending worldwide. Millions of views, thousands of comments, people sharing their own stories of police brutality, their own experiences with corrupt cops. Kesha's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Interview requests, speaking invitations, book deals. Everyone wanted a piece of her story. She ignored them all. This wasn't about fame. This was about accountability. Around 6 p.m. Chen called. "Judge, you need to see this." "See what?" "Check your email. I just sent you something." Kesha opened her email, found Chen's message, clicked the attachment. It was a list. Names, dates, cases. "What am I looking at?" she asked. "That's every case in the last 10 years where Martinez's testimony was the primary evidence. I cross-referenced it with conviction rates. Judge, 97% of those cases resulted in convictions." "That's impossible." "That's what I thought. So I compared it to the average conviction rate for similar cases without Martinez's testimony, 63%. Judge Martinez's testimony alone increased conviction rates by 34%. Kesha felt sick. Because juries believed cops over defendants. Exactly, and the DA's office knew it. They put Martinez on the stand in weak cases because his testimony guaranteed convictions. They used him as a weapon. Does Morrison know about this? She has to. Her office tracks conviction rates religiously. There's no way she missed this pattern. Kesha leaned back in her chair. So the DA's office wasn't just complicit. They were actively using a corrupt cop to secure convictions. Looks that way. Send me everything you have. Every case. Every statistic. Every piece of evidence. I'm going to expose all of it. She hung up, started drafting an order. Not just for reviewing Martinez's cases. For investigating the entire DA's office. Their relationship with Martinez. Their knowledge of his corruption. Their role in convicting innocent people. This was bigger than one cop. This was systemic failure at every level. At 8 p.m., her mother called. Are you coming back here tonight? No, I need to work. Kesha, you're exhausted. Come home. Sleep. Start fresh tomorrow. Mom, I can't. There's too much to do. There will always be too much to do, but you're no good to anyone if you collapse. Kesha knew her mother was right, but stopping felt impossible. Every minute she wasn't working was another minute innocent people sat in prison. I'll be home by midnight, she compromised. I promise. She worked for 3 more hours, reviewed cases, made notes, built her argument for investigating the DA's office. At 10:47 p.m., someone knocked on her door. Not Marcus. He'd gone home hours ago. Kesha stood, walked to the door. Who is it? Security Judge Williams. We need to do a sweep. She opened the door. 2 men in security uniforms stood there. She didn't recognize either of them. A sweep at this hour. Bomb threat called in an hour ago. We're checking every office. Kesha's instincts screamed danger. Let me see your IDs. The men exchanged glances. Wrong answer. Real security would have offered IDs immediately. Kesha slammed the door, locked it, grabbed her phone. The men started kicking the door, wood splintering, lock straining. She dialed 911. This is Judge Kesha Williams, federal courthouse. 2 men trying to break into my chambers. I need help now. The operator's voice was calm. Officers are on the way. Stay on the line. The door burst open. The 2 men rushed in. One grabbed her. The other went for her phone. Kesha fought, scratched, kicked, screamed. One of them hit her, hard, across the face. Pain exploded. Blood in her mouth again, just like that morning with Martinez. Shut up, he hissed. You should have taken the deal. Deal? What deal? The other one grabbed her arms, twisted them behind her back, just like Martinez had done. You think you can destroy cops and walk away, the first one said. You think we'll let you... Kesha's mind raced. These were cops, off-duty or undercover or just corrupt. Martinez's friends, coming for revenge. She heard sirens, distant but getting closer. The men heard them too. Forget it, one said. Let's go. They threw her to the ground, ran out the door, disappeared down the hallway. Kesha lay on her office floor, face bleeding, body shaking, but alive. Real security arrived 3 minutes later. Then police, then paramedics. They cleaned her face, checked for concussion, asked 1,000 questions. Did you recognize them? The detective asked. No. Can you describe them? White, both around 6 feet, strong, knew how to fight. Anything else? Kesha thought about what one of them had said. You should have taken the deal. One of them mentioned a deal. I don't know what he meant. The detective wrote it down. We'll review security footage, see if we can identify them. After everyone left, Kesha sat alone in her destroyed office, door broken, papers scattered, blood on the carpet. Her phone rang. Her mother. I saw the news. Are you okay? I'm fine. Kesha. Mom, I'm fine, really. Just a few bruises. Come home now, please. Okay, I'm coming. Kesha gathered her things, walked through the empty courthouse. Every shadow felt dangerous, every sound a threat. Her police escort met her at the elevator, walked her to her car, followed her home. Her mother waited at the door, pulled her inside, examined her face. They hurt you. I've been hurt before. This has to stop. You're going to get killed. I'm not stopping. Then I'm moving in with you. Someone needs to keep you alive. Kesha wanted to argue, but she was too tired, too scared, too aware of how close she'd come to dying. Okay, she said. Pack a bag tomorrow. They went to bed. Kesha couldn't sleep. Every sound made her jump. Every creak of the house set her heart racing. Around 3 a.m. her phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. This is just the beginning. Drop the investigation or the next time we won't run. Kesha stared at the message, felt fear trying to take hold. Then she felt anger pushing it back. She typed a response. Come back anytime. I'll be ready, and this time I'll see your faces, and then I'll destroy you like I destroyed Martinez. She hit send, turned off her phone, closed her eyes. Tomorrow she'd file the order investigating the DA's office. Tomorrow she'd expose everyone involved. Tomorrow she'd fight back harder than ever. But tonight she'd sleep, because she needed strength for the war ahead. And it was definitely a war now. She woke to pounding on the door at 6 a.m. Her mother was already up coffee brewing. The pounding continued. Federal agents, a voice shouted. Open up! Kesha threw on a robe, checked the peephole, saw FBI badges, real ones this time. Agent Torres stood front and center with 6 agents behind her. Kesha opened the door. Little early for a visit. We need to talk, Torres said. Now. They filed into the living room. Her mother brought coffee. Nobody touched it. Torres pulled out a tablet. Last night's attack, we got them. Already? Security footage was clear. We ran facial recognition. Both men are cops, Officer Jake Sullivan and Officer Marcus Reed. Both worked closely with Martinez. Both have complaint histories, and both just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Torres swiped the screen. Showed Kesha photos. Sullivan and Reed in custody. Bloodied. Clearly didn't go quietly. They're talking, Torres continued. Gave us names. Lots of names. Turns out your attack on Martinez's case triggered something bigger. There's a group. Called themselves the Brotherhood. 47 officers across 3 precincts. They've been covering for each other for years. Kesha sat down. 47. That we know of. Could be more. They falsify reports, plant evidence, intimidate witnesses, and they protect each other no matter what. Martinez was just the tip. Why are you telling me this? Torres leaned forward. Because we're arresting all of them. Today. Right now. Federal raids across the city, and we need you ready because this is going to explode. Ready how? The cases, all those convictions based on false testimony, you wanted to review them, now you'll have to, because we're about to invalidate testimony from 47 officers spanning 15 years. We're talking thousands of cases. Kesha felt dizzy. Thousands. At minimum. Judge Williams, you opened Pandora's box. Now we have to deal with what's inside. Her mother spoke up. Is my daughter safe? Torres looked at her. We're arresting everyone involved in last night's attack. Everyone connected to the Brotherhood. But I can't promise there aren't others. People we haven't identified yet. So she's not safe. We're assigning protection. 24/7. She'll have agents with her everywhere. I don't want protection, Kesha said. I want justice. You can have both. The raid started at 7 a.m. FBI hit 47 homes simultaneously. News helicopters caught some of it. Cops dragged out in handcuffs. Families screaming. Neighbors filming everything. By 8 a.m., all 47 were in custody. By 9, the police union was holding an emergency press conference. Carl Davidson stood at the podium looking shell-shocked. This is a dark day for law enforcement. These arrests are based on the word of 2 officers who attacked a judge. 2 criminals trying to save themselves by lying about good cops. A reporter interrupted. Mr. Davidson, the FBI has physical evidence. Falsified reports. Planted evidence. How do you explain that? Davidson stammered. I haven't seen this evidence. Are you saying the FBI is lying? I'm saying we need due process. These officers deserve... What about the people they framed? Did they get due process? Davidson walked away from the podium. Press conference over. Kesha watched from her chambers. Marcus beside her. Chen on speakerphone. This is insane, Chen said. The DA's office is in chaos. Morrison's locked in her office, won't talk to anyone. Half her cases just got invalidated. Good, Kesha said. Maybe she'll resign. She won't, she's too proud. But she's finished politically. No way she recovers from this. Kesha's other line beeped. I have to go. Keep me posted. She switched lines. Judge Williams? This is Governor Richardson. Kesha sat up straighter. She'd never spoken to the governor before. Governor, what can I do for you? I'm calling about the situation with these arrests. It's creating a crisis. Public confidence in the law enforcement is collapsing. We need to manage this carefully. Manage it how? I'm forming a special commission to review all the affected cases, determine which convictions are valid and which need to be overturned. I want you to lead it. Kesha was quiet for a moment. Why me? Because you're the one person everyone trusts, both sides. You held Martinez accountable, but you did it fairly, by the book. We need that credibility. What's the catch? Richardson laughed. Smart question. The catch is you'll be working 18-hour days for the next 6 months. You'll be dealing with angry cops, angry prosecutors, angry politicians, and you'll probably get more death threats. But you'll also have the power to fix this mess. Real power, resources, staff, whatever you need. I want complete independence, no political interference. Done. I want subpoena power, access to all police records, all DA files, everything. Done. And I want immunity for witnesses, people who come forward to testify about corruption, no retaliation. I'll have to check with the Attorney General, but I think we can make that work. Kesha thought about it. This was bigger than she'd imagined. Bigger than Martinez. This was a chance to actually change the system. I'll do it, she said. But on one condition, Deshaun Carter serves on the commission and families of other victims. This can't just be lawyers and politicians. We need the people who were hurt. Agreed. I'll have my staff send over the paperwork. Press conference tomorrow at 10. You ready? I'm ready. She hung up, looked at Marcus. Get Chen back on the phone and start making a list. Everyone we need on this commission. Victims, defense attorneys, civil rights lawyers, people who know the system is broken because they've been broken by it. Marcus started typing. This is huge, Judge. I know. This could change everything. That's the idea. Her phone buzzed. Text from Torres. Need to see you. Important. Federal building. 1 hour. Kesha grabbed her coat. I'm heading out. Call me if anything urgent comes up. Where are you going? To find out what else the FBI knows. The federal building was 10 blocks away. Her security detail drove her. 2 agents in an unmarked car. She hated it, but understood the necessity. Torres met her in a secure conference room. Spread files across the table. We've been going through Sullivan and Reed's statements, Torres said. They gave us details, names, dates, methods. Judge Williams, this thing goes deeper than corrupt cops. How much deeper? Torres pulled out a file. The Brotherhood had help, inside the DA's office, inside the mayor's office, even inside the courts. Kesha felt cold. Inside the courts? 2 judges, Judge Harold Pierce and Judge Samuel Morrison. Pierce presided over my arraignment when Martinez arrested me. Exactly. He's been covering for the Brotherhood for years, dismissing complaints, reducing charges, making problems disappear. And Judge Morrison? DA Patricia Morrison's husband. He's been feeding information to the Brotherhood, telling them which cases to worry about, which defense attorneys are effective, which witnesses to intimidate. Kesha sat down. How long has this been going on? At least 10 years, maybe longer. We're still piecing it together. Why didn't anyone notice? Torres laughed bitterly. People noticed. They just didn't care. Or they were too scared to speak up. Or they were complicit. That's how corruption works. It spreads until everyone's dirty. What happens now? Pierce and Morrison will be arrested tomorrow, along with 3 assistant DAs and 2 city council members. We're cleaning house, but Judge Williams, you need to be careful. These people are connected, powerful. They won't go down quietly. I'm not worried about them going quietly. I'm worried about innocent people still sitting in prison while we sort this out. Torres nodded. That's why the governor wants you leading the commission. You actually care. Kesha went back to the courthouse. Her chambers felt different now, tainted. How many corrupt decisions had been made in this building? How many lives destroyed? Marcus was waiting with news. Judge, you're trending worldwide. The hashtag clean up justice is everywhere. People are sharing stories, demanding investigations in their own cities. This is becoming a movement. Movements are great, but I need cases reviewed. Get me that list from Chen. Every conviction involving the Brotherhood. We start processing them tomorrow. Tomorrow, Judge, there are thousands. Then we better get started. That night, Kesha couldn't go home. Too much work. She sent her mother back with security, promised to check in every hour. She worked through the night, reviewing case after case, each one worse than the last. A 19-year-old kid serving 20 years for a murder he didn't commit. Brotherhood officer planted the gun. Another officer testified he'd seen it. Both lied. A mother of 3 doing 15 years for drug trafficking. The drugs were planted during a traffic stop. She'd never used drugs in her life. Clean record before the arrest. A college student serving 10 years for assault. He'd been defending himself from police brutality. Brotherhood officers all testified he attacked first. Video evidence mysteriously disappeared. By dawn, Kesha had reviewed 40 cases, 40 innocent people, 40 lives destroyed, and she'd barely scratched the surface. Marcus arrived at 7 a.m. with coffee and breakfast. You look terrible. Thanks. Did you sleep at all? No time. Judge, you have a press conference in 3 hours. You need to look alive. She knew he was right, went to her private bathroom, washed her face, changed into the spare suit she kept in her office. At 9:30, her security detail drove her to the governor's mansion. Media trucks lined the street. Hundreds of reporters. This was national news now, maybe international. Governor Richardson met her at the door. Judge Williams, thank you for coming. Thank you for trusting me with this. They walked to the press room together. Richardson went first, announced the formation of the Special Commission on Justice Reform, explained its mission, its scope, its importance. Then he introduced Kesha. She stepped to the podium, looked out at the sea of cameras and reporters. Good morning. My name is Judge Kesha Williams. Some of you know me from the Martinez case. Some know me from the video of a cop slapping me on courthouse steps. But today I'm here as the chair of a commission that will determine the future of justice in this state. She paused. Let that sink in. 3 weeks ago, I was assaulted by a police officer who couldn't imagine a black woman belonged in a courthouse. He was wrong, and his wrongness set off a chain of events that exposed a massive corruption network. 47 officers, multiple judges, prosecutors, politicians, all working together to falsify evidence, frame innocent people, and protect each other. The reporters were silent, listening. But this isn't a story about me. This is about thousands of people sitting in prison right now for crimes they didn't commit. People whose lives were destroyed by cops who lied, by prosecutors who looked the other way, by a system that valued convictions over truth. Her voice grew stronger. This commission will review every case, every conviction, every piece of evidence, and we will free every innocent person we find. Not next year, not next month, starting today, because justice delayed is justice denied. The reporters erupted with questions. Kesha pointed to one. Judge Williams, how many people do you expect to free? I don't know yet. Could be hundreds. Could be thousands. But every single one matters. Another reporter. What about the cops? Will they face charges? That's up to the FBI and the Attorney General. My job is to fix what they broke. Are you afraid of retaliation? Kesha thought about Sullivan and Reed breaking into her chambers. About the threats, the violence. I'm terrified, she said honestly. But I'm more afraid of what happens if we do nothing. If we let corruption win, if we tell victims their pain doesn't matter, that's the real fear. The press conference lasted an hour. By the time it ended, Kesha was exhausted, but energized, ready. Back at the courthouse, Chen was waiting. I have the full list, 2,347 cases involving brotherhood testimony. Start with the oldest, people who've been in prison longest. They've waited long enough. Chen nodded. I'll need help. This is too much for one person. You'll have it. The governor's giving us resources. Staff, investigators. Whatever we need. They worked for the next 12 hours straight. Building teams, assigning cases, creating protocols. By midnight, they had a system. By 2 a.m., they'd started processing the first batch of cases. At 3 a.m., Kesha signed her first order, vacating the conviction of Marcus Johnson. The 16-year-old kid Martinez had falsely accused of assault 3 years ago. She called him, woke him up. Marcus, this is Judge Williams. Judge, what's wrong? It's 3 in the morning. Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. I just signed an order vacating your conviction. You're free. The charges are dismissed. Silence, then crying. Are you serious? Marcus asked through tears. Completely serious. You'll be released tomorrow morning. I'm so sorry for what was done to you. Sorry it took so long to fix. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kesha hung up, allowed herself 30 seconds to feel good, then moved to the next case. Ashley Rodriguez, the 22-year-old mother whose car dashcam footage had disappeared. Kesha signed the order, called her too. Then David Chen, the 14-year-old who'd been framed with planted cocaine. Another order, another call, another family reunited. By dawn, Kesha had freed 17 people, 17 lives restored. But she had thousands more to go. The media coverage exploded. Every network covering the mass releases, families crying, people hugging, justice finally arriving. But not everyone was happy. The police union called Kesha a traitor, said she was destroying law enforcement, creating a criminal's paradise, putting citizens at risk. Some prosecutors agreed, claimed the releases were premature, that evidence needed more review, that innocent people might not be so innocent, but the public didn't buy it. The videos were clear. The planted evidence obvious. The lies transparent. Support for the commission was overwhelming. Donations poured in. Volunteers offered help. Law students wanted to work for free. 2 weeks later, the commission had freed 83 people. Each case carefully reviewed. Each conviction thoroughly examined. No shortcuts, no assumptions, just facts and truth. Martinez's sentencing had been the spark. But this was the fire. On day 15, Kesha got a call from federal prison. Martinez wanted to talk. Why would I want to talk to him? She asked Torres. Because he's offering information, names we don't have, cases we don't know about. He's ready to tell everything. In exchange for what? Nothing. He says he wants to help, wants to make amends. Kesha didn't believe in deathbed conversions, but she couldn't ignore potential evidence. Set it up. Tomorrow. The federal prison was 2 hours away, maximum security, where they sent the worst of the worst. Martinez looked smaller in prison orange, the smugness gone, the confidence destroyed. He sat across from Kesha in a small room, glass partition between them, phone on each side. Thank you for coming, he said. Kesha said nothing. I've been watching the news, seeing all the people you're freeing, people I helped put away. I'm sorry. Are you? I am. I really am. I didn't think about this them, didn't care. I just wanted to win, make arrests, get promotions, but now I'm here and I understand. I destroyed lives. Why should I believe you? Martinez looked at his hands. Because I have nothing left to lose. My wife divorced me, my kids won't talk to me. I'm doing 25 years. I'm 43 years old. I'll be 68 when I get out. If I get out, this is my life now. You did this to yourself. I know, but maybe I can help fix some of it. I know cases. Ones that aren't on your list. Ones where we buried evidence deeper. Where multiple officers coordinated. Where judges helped. Kesha leaned forward. Tell me. For the next 3 hours, Martinez talked. gave names, dates, details, explained how the Brotherhood operated, how they selected targets, how they coordinated stories, how they intimidated witnesses. He told her about a case from 2019, a 25-year-old woman named Jennifer Harris, framed for drug dealing. She'd rejected one officer's advances, refused to date him, so the Brotherhood planted drugs in her car. All testified against her. She was serving 12 years. We destroyed her because she said no, Martinez said, because one cop's ego got hurt. Kesha wrote down every word. What else? Martinez told her about a teenager named Robert Mills, caught spray painting a wall, minor vandalism, but the Brotherhood turned it into gang activity, planted a gun, claimed he was a threat. He was doing 15 years. The kid was just tagging his girlfriend's name, Martinez said. That's it. We ruined his life over graffiti. Case after case, victim after victim. The Brotherhood had touched everything. By the end, Kesha had 37 new cases. 37 more innocent people to free. Why are you doing this? She asked. What do you want? I don't want anything. I just want to sleep at night, and I can't. Every night I see their faces. Deshaun, Marcus, all of them. I can't make it right, but maybe I can help you make it less wrong. Kesha stood to leave. Judge Williams? Martinez said. She turned back. I know you have no reason to believe me, but I need you to know something. What I did to you that morning, slapping you, arresting you, that wasn't the worst thing I've done, not even close. I've done things that make that look like nothing, and I'm sorry for all of it. Kesha looked at him, saw genuine remorse, or maybe just self-pity. Hard to tell the difference. Your apology doesn't undo the damage, she said, but your information might help fix some of it, so thank you. She left, drove back to the city, started processing the new cases immediately. Jennifer Harris was freed 3 days later. Walked out of prison into her mother's arms after 4 years of hell. Robert Mills was released the next day. 23 now instead of 18. Lost years he'd never get back. But free. The commission kept working, kept freeing people, kept exposing corruption. By week 4, they'd freed 147 people, the largest mass exoneration in state history. By week 6, 211, the courthouse that once protected corruption now delivered justice. And Kesha, the woman who'd been slapped and arrested on its steps, now sat behind the bench, dispensing mercy to those who needed it most. But she knew this was just beginning. 200 cases down, over 2,000 to go. Late one night, her mother brought dinner to her chambers. You're going to work yourself to death, her mother said. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're running on fumes and stubbornness. Kesha smiled. Sounds about right. Her mother sat across from her. Your father would be proud. You know that, right? I hope so. I know so. He always said the system was broken, said it needed people brave enough to break it back. That's what you're doing. I'm just doing my job. No, your job is to preside over cases. This is bigger. This is a calling. This is what you were meant to do. Kesha felt tears threatening, pushed them back. I keep thinking about Dad, about how they killed him and called it justified. If someone like me had been there, had reviewed his case, had cared, maybe he'd still be alive. Her mother took her hand. You can't save everyone, but you can save some, and that's enough. They ate in silence. When her mother left, Kesha went back to work, because 2,000 cases wouldn't review themselves. 2,000 innocent people wouldn't free themselves. 2,000 families wouldn't reunite themselves. It took a judge willing to fight, willing to sacrifice, willing to risk everything. And Kesha Williams was that judge. The woman slapped on courthouse steps had become the woman who slapped back at injustice itself, and she wasn't done, not even close. Kesha sat in her chambers at midnight reviewing case number 413, a woman named Lisa Patterson, 34 years old, serving 18 years for armed robbery she didn't commit. 3 Brotherhood officers testified against her. No physical evidence, no witnesses except cops. The pattern was always the same. Her phone rang. Marcus calling at this hour meant trouble. What's wrong? Judge, you need to see this. I'm sending you a link. Kesha opened her email, clicked the link. A news article loaded. Former DA Patricia Morrison found dead. Apparent suicide. Kesha read the article twice. Morrison had been under investigation for months. Her husband, Judge Samuel Morrison, already convicted of corruption. Her career destroyed. Her reputation ruined. And now this. They're saying she left a note, Marcus said, confessing to everything, naming names. Judge Williams, there are people in that note we haven't identified yet, high-level people. Send me the note, all of it. The FBI has it sealed, but it's going to leak. These things always leak. Kesha hung up, sat in silence. She'd wanted Morrison held accountable, wanted her prosecuted, wanted justice. But not this. Never this. Her phone rang again. Torres this time. You heard about Morrison? Torres asked. Just now. Her note changes everything. She implicated 15 more people, including 2 state senators and the Attorney General. The Attorney General, he's supposed to be prosecuting these cases. He was also covering them up, taking bribes to make investigations disappear. Morrison laid it all out. Dates, amounts, everything. What happens now? Federal takeover. The entire state justice system is compromised. We're bringing in outside prosecutors, outside investigators. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Kesha felt exhausted. How much worse can it get? A lot worse, because Morrison also named the mayor, and the police chief, and half the city council. Judge Williams, the corruption goes all the way to the top. Everyone's dirty. Not everyone. No, not everyone, but enough that we can't trust anyone. After Torres hung up, Kesha sat alone in the dark. Thought about Morrison, about what drives someone to that point. Shame, fear, guilt. Maybe all 3. Her computer dinged. Email from an anonymous account. Subject line, you're next. She almost deleted it. Almost. But something made her open it. Inside was a single sentence. Morrison was the smart one. She got out before we got to her. Kesha's blood ran cold. She forwarded it to Torres, called her back. I just got a threat, saying Morrison didn't kill herself. Forward it to me. We'll trace it. You think they're right? Think Morrison was murdered? Torres was quiet for a moment. I think Morrison had information that could destroy powerful people. I think she was about to testify, and I think her death was very convenient timing. So what do? We double your security, triple it, and we move faster. Get those cases reviewed before anyone else dies. Kesha worked through the night. Signed orders freeing Lisa Patterson and 6 others. Each signature felt like defiance. Each freed person a victory against the system trying to silence her. By dawn, she'd processed 17 cases. 17 more people would wake up free. But she couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. The news about Morrison's note broke at 7 a.m. Every network running it. The Attorney General resigned by 8. The mayor held a press conference at 9 claiming innocence. By 10, federal agents were arresting him. The state was in chaos. The entire justice system collapsing in real time, and Kesha sat at the center of it all. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters, politicians, activists, everyone wanted a statement. Everyone wanted her to say something. She said nothing. Just kept working. At noon, Deshaun Carter appeared at her door. 20 months since Martinez broke his arm. He'd healed physically. Emotionally was harder. Judge Williams, you have a minute. For you always. Come in. Deshaun sat down. He'd grown taller, looked older. Trauma did that. I saw the news about Morrison, about all the arrests. It's crazy. It is. Is it ever going to end? All this corruption? Kesha wanted to say yes, wanted to promise him justice would prevail, but she'd learned not to make promises she couldn't keep. I don't know, she said honestly, but we keep fighting until it does. I want to help, want to work with the commission. I'm 18 now, legal adult. I can testify, tell my story, help other victims. Kesha felt pride surge through her. You sure it's hard work, long hours, reliving trauma? I'm sure. You gave me my life back. Time to help others get theirs. Then welcome to the team. We start tomorrow. After Deshaun left, Kesha felt hope for the first time in weeks. If a kid who'd been brutalized by the system could still believe in it, maybe there was a chance. That afternoon, the commission held a public hearing. 200 people packed the courthouse. Victims, families, supporters, all waiting to share their stories. The first speaker was Marcus Johnson, now 19, free for 6 months but still angry. I lost 3 years of my life, when he said. 3 years I can't get back. I missed my grandmother's funeral because I was in prison, missed my little sister's graduation, missed everything because a cop lied and nobody cared enough to check. His voice cracked. But Judge Williams cared. She checked. She freed me, and I'm grateful. But I'm also angry because how many more are still inside? How many more victims are waiting? The crowd erupted in applause. Next came Jennifer Harris. The woman who'd rejected an officer's advances and paid with 12 years of her life. "They didn't just take my freedom," she said. "They took my dignity, my reputation, my future. People still think I'm a drug dealer, still cross the street when they see me. The conviction's gone, but the stigma remains. That's what corruption does. It doesn't just destroy you in the moment, it destroys you forever." More applause, more pain, more truth. Speaker after speaker, each story worse than the last, each victim carrying scars that would never fully heal. Kesha listened to all of it, took notes, made promises. The commission would help with expungement, with compensation, with therapy, whatever they needed. But she knew it would never be enough. You can't give back lost years, can't undo trauma, can't restore innocence once it's been stolen. All you can do is try. The hearing lasted 6 hours. By the end, Kesha's heart felt heavy but determined. These people deserved more than apologies. They deserved systemic change. That evening she drafted a proposal, not just reviewing cases, not just freeing the innocent, but restructuring the entire system. New oversight boards, independent prosecutors for police misconduct, mandatory body cameras, civilian review panels, real consequences for corruption. She sent it to the governor, to the state legislature, to anyone who would listen. Most ignored it. Too radical, too expensive, too threatening to existing power structures. But a few listened, a handful of legislators, some activists, a couple of reform-minded cops who'd been silenced for years. They started building a coalition, small at first, but growing. 2 weeks later, the commission freed its 500th person, a milestone. The media covered it extensively. Kesha stood on the courthouse steps with all 500 freed individuals behind her. "This is what justice looks like," she said to the cameras. 500 people who were stolen from their families, stolen from their lives, and now restored. But we're not done. We won't be done until every innocent person walks free, until every corrupt official faces consequences, until the system that allowed this horror is completely rebuilt. The freed individuals cheered. The crowd joined them. For a moment it felt like victory, but Kesha knew better. Knew there were still over 1,800 cases to review. Knew powerful people were still fighting to stop her. Knew every day brought new threats. That night she got another email, this one different, from someone claiming to be inside the Brotherhood. Subject line, "Not all of us are evil." She opened it carefully. "Judge Williams, I'm a cop, was part of the Brotherhood, not proud of it, but I wasn't like Martinez. Never framed anyone, never planted evidence. Just stayed quiet when I should have spoken up, and that makes me guilty too. I have information, files they don't know I copied, evidence of cases you haven't found yet. I want to help, but I'm scared. They've killed people who talked. Morrison wasn't suicide, and you're in danger too. Meet me, tomorrow, noon. Old warehouse on 5th and Main. Come alone or I disappear." Kesha stared at the email. Every instinct screamed trap. But what if it wasn't? What if this person had evidence that could free more innocent people? She forwarded it to Torres, called her. "Absolutely not," Torres said immediately. "This is obviously a trap." "What if it's not?" "Then we'll send agents, wear a wire, set up surveillance, but you are not going alone to a warehouse to meet some anonymous cop. If I bring agents, they won't show. You know that. Then they don't show. Your life is worth more than information." Is my life worth more than the innocent people still in prison, the families still suffering?" Torres sighed. "Judge Williams, you're not Batman. You can't save everyone by yourself." "I'm not trying to save everyone, just trying to save someone." They argued for 20 minutes. Finally reached a compromise. Kesha would wear a wire. Agents would be positioned nearby but out of sight. At the first sign of danger, they'd move in. Kesha didn't sleep that night. Kept thinking about the meeting, about what information this person might have, about the risks. Her mother caught her at 5 a.m. making coffee. "You're going to do something stupid today, aren't you?" "Probably." "Want to tell me what?" "Not really." Her mother poured her own coffee, sat across from Kesha. "You're just like your father, stubborn, fearless, reckless. He got himself killed being a hero. Don't you do the same." "I'm being careful." "No, you're not. Careful people don't meet anonymous informants in abandoned warehouses." Kesha looked up. "How did you—" "I read your emails. I'm your mother. I'm allowed." "Mom. Don't mom me. You're walking into danger and you know it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to wear that wire. You're going to let the FBI protect you, and you're going to come home tonight. Promise me." "I promise." Say it like you mean it. I promise I'll come home tonight. Her mother kissed her forehead. Good. Because I didn't raise you to be a martyr. I raised you to be a fighter, and fighters stay alive. At 11 a.m., FBI agents wired Kesha. Tiny microphone, backup GPS tracker, panic button disguised as a bracelet. First sign of trouble, hit that button, Torres instructed. We'll be there in 30 seconds. What constitutes trouble? Anything, everything, gun, threat, bad feeling, don't be a hero. Everyone keeps saying that because you keep trying to be one. The drive to the warehouse took 15 minutes. Old industrial area, most buildings abandoned, perfect place for an ambush. Kesha parked outside at 11:55. The building looked empty, windows broken, door hanging off hinges. Every horror movie she'd ever seen flashed through her mind. She got out of the car, walked to the entrance, pushed open the door. Inside was darkness, broken machinery, rats scurrying, the smell of decay. Hello, she called out. Nothing. I'm here, alone, like you asked. A figure emerged from the shadows. Male, medium height, wearing a hood, face obscured. Judge Williams? His voice was young, scared. That's me? You have information? He pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here. Cases, names, evidence, things the Brotherhood buried deep. Why are you doing this? Because I can't sleep anymore, can't look at myself in the mirror. I became a cop to help people, but I ended up hurting them, standing by while others destroyed lives, and I can't anymore. Kesha stepped closer, reached for the flash drive. That's when she heard it. Footsteps. Multiple people, coming from behind her. The young cop's eyes went wide. Run! Kesha spun around. 4 men blocking the exit, all wearing masks, all carrying weapons. She hit the panic button. You shouldn't have come, one of them said. Morrison was smart enough to kill herself, saved us the trouble, but you just keep pushing, keep exposing, keep destroying good cops. Good cops don't frame innocent people, Kesha said. Shut up. He raised his weapon. You're done. The commission's done. This ends today. The young cop stepped between them. No, this isn't what we agreed. You said you just wanted to scare her. Plans changed. The masked man aimed at the young cop instead. Traitor? The gunshot echoed through the warehouse. The young cop fell. Kesha screamed, dropped to her knees beside him, blood spreading across his chest. I'm sorry, he whispered. I tried to warn you. More footsteps, but these were different. Military. Coordinated? FBI, drop your weapons. Agents swarmed from every entrance. Dozens of them. The 4 masked men tried to run. Didn't make it 10 feet. Torres rushed to Kesha. You okay? He's been shot. Help him. Paramedics appeared, worked on the young cop, loaded him onto a stretcher, raced him to an ambulance. Torres helped Kesha up. Did you get the flash drive? Kesha looked at her hand, still clutched the drive. Yeah, I got it. Good, because those 4 men, all cops, all Brotherhood, and now they're all under arrest for attempted murder of a federal judge. The masked men were being handcuffed. One of them looked at Kesha. This isn't over. There's more of us. You can't stop us all. Watch me, Kesha said. Back at the federal building, tech experts analyzed the flash drive. What they found was staggering. Evidence of 347 additional cases. Names of 62 more corrupt officers. Documentation of bribes, threats, and cover-ups going back 20 years. This is everything, Torres said. This is the whole network. What about the young cop, the one who gave it to me? Still in surgery, touch and go, but he's fighting. What's his name? Torres checked her notes. Officer Ryan Mitchell, 26 years old, 3 years on the force. Clean record until he got recruited into the Brotherhood. Looks like he was trying to get out. If he survives, I want him protected. Full immunity. Witness protection if necessary. Already arranged? Kesha went back to her chambers, exhausted, traumatized, but not broken. She uploaded the flash drive contents, started processing the new cases, 347 more innocent people to free. The work never ended, but neither did she. Marcus knocked. Judge, the media wants a statement about the warehouse. Tell them I'm fine. Tell them we got evidence that will free hundreds more people. Tell them justice doesn't stop for bullets. That's pretty badass. I don't feel badass. I feel tired. Then go home. Sleep. Start fresh tomorrow. Can't. Too much to do. Judge Williams. Marcus's voice was firm. You almost died today. Go home. Hug your mother. Sleep. The work will be here tomorrow." He was right. She gathered her things, headed to the parking garage. Her security detail was now 8 agents instead of 2. At home, her mother was waiting, saw Kesha's face and pulled her into a hug. "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" "No, but I will be." They sat together on the couch. Didn't talk, just sat. Sometimes silence was enough. The next morning, Kesha woke to news that Officer Ryan Mitchell had survived surgery, would recover fully, and was cooperating completely with investigators. His testimony would bring down the remaining Brotherhood members, all 62 of them. By noon, FBI had arrested 58. The other 4 had fled. Warrants issued. They wouldn't get far. By evening, the commission had started processing the 347 new cases, working around the clock. Teams of lawyers and investigators, all dedicated to one goal: freedom for the innocent, justice for the wronged. 3 months later, the commission had freed 739 people, the largest exoneration effort in American history. The courthouse that once protected corruption now stood for justice. The system that once enabled abuse now demanded accountability. And Kesha Williams, the woman slapped on those courthouse steps, had transformed pain into purpose, had turned humiliation into power, had made the system that hurt her work for everyone it had hurt. The governor held a ceremony, renamed the courthouse the Justice Williams Federal Courthouse, gave her a medal, made speeches about reform and progress. Kesha accepted it all, said it all graciously, but she knew the real work wasn't finished. There were still cases to review, still innocent people in prison, still corruption to expose, still systems to rebuild. But for one moment, she allowed herself to feel proud, to look at the 739 freed individuals standing in the courthouse, to see their families reunited, their lives restored. This was justice. Real justice. Not perfect, not complete, but real. Deshawn stood beside her on the courthouse steps. "You did this, you changed everything. We did this, all of us together. But you started it. That day Martinez slapped you. You could have let it go, could have just accepted it, but you didn't. You fought back. And because you fought back, 739 people are free." Kesha looked out at the crowd, saw Marcus Johnson, Jennifer Harris, Lisa Patterson, Robert Mills, all of them, all free because someone finally cared enough to check, to investigate, to demand truth. "Justice may be blind," she said, "but she sees everything, and when she does, she strikes back." The crowd erupted in cheers. 739 voices, 739 stories, 739 reasons why the fight mattered. Martinez watched it all on TV from his prison cell, saw the ceremony, saw the freed people, saw Kesha standing where he'd once pushed her down. He'd been the one to slap her, to arrest her, to humiliate her, and in doing so, he'd created the woman who would dismantle everything he'd built. His cellmate looked at the TV. "That's the judge who put you away." "Yeah?" "She's something else." Martinez nodded. "Yeah, she is." That night, Kesha sat in her chambers one last time. Tomorrow, she'd move to larger offices. The commission was expanding. More staff, more resources, more cases from other states requesting help. The movement had spread. Cities across America demanding their own reviews, their own investigations, their own reckonings with police corruption. What started with one slap had become a revolution. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. "Judge Williams? This is Officer Ryan Mitchell, the cop from the warehouse." "Ryan, how are you feeling?" "Like I got shot, but alive, thanks to you. The FBI said if you hadn't called for help when you did, I'd be dead. You gave us the evidence that freed 347 people. Thank you for that. I should have done it sooner, should have spoken up years ago. Maybe Morrison would still be alive. Maybe all those people wouldn't have lost years of their lives. Maybe, but you did it when you could. That takes courage. You're the one with courage. I just copied files. You took on the whole system. Someone had to. I'm testifying next week, against all of them. Every Brotherhood member, every corrupt official. I'm going to tell everything. I'll be there, front row." "Good, I'll need a friendly face." After he hung up, Kesha sat in silence, thought about everything that had happened. The slap, the arrest, the trial, the threats, the warehouse, all of it. She'd been terrified so many times, had wanted to quit, had wondered if it was worth it. But looking at those 739 freed people, she knew the answer. It was worth it. Every moment, every risk, every sleepless night. Because justice wasn't just about punishing the guilty. It was about freeing the innocent, restoring lives, rebuilding systems, creating a world where a cop couldn't slap a black woman on courthouse steps without consequences. Her final thought before leaving that night was simple but powerful. Justice may be blind, but she sees everything, and when she does, she strikes back. And Kesha Williams was justice embodied, fierce, unrelenting, unstoppable. The woman they tried to break had instead broken the system itself, and rebuilt it into something better, something fairer, something that finally worked for everyone. 739 people free, thousands more coming, a movement spreading across the nation, all because one woman refused to accept injustice. That was her legacy, that was her purpose, that was her power, and she was just getting started.